some of this game had shades of what happened last night, but then we saw the offense get going for the Yankees, Jack. 2 runs in the 7th, 1 more in the 9th to make it interesting. Let's get to your Hyundai opening comment.
Yeah, some suspense and drama at the end after the Yankees were stagnant for large portions of this game. And it's a frustrating loss, Bob, because the Yankees had opportunities and weren't able to do any damage against Kikuchi. And then they come down to the final out of the game. They've got the potential tying run on third base, and Cabrera grounds out. But it was that kind of night for their offense. Their top 6 batters in the lineup only managed 2 hits, and one of those was an infield single by Stanton that should have been an error. It was scored an error and then changed to a hit. They couldn't solve Kikuchi, and Rodon put them in a tricky situation because he threw so many pitches. He only ended up lasting 4 innings, 101 pitches to get through those 4 innings. When he left, the Yankees were behind 3-1. They've now lost 3 in a row, and in all 3 of those games, their starters haven't given them length or efficiency.
That theme for Rodon, that grind that he had tonight, that's our turning point of the game, brought to you by Montefiore Einstein, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. And again, it's a tie game at 1, Jack. Bottom of the 4th, George Springer at the plate, and another extended at bat against Rodon.
Yeah, you talk about batters making pitchers work, and this is what is going to happen in this at-bat. Rodon's going to start Springer off with a fastball, getting the call on the outside corner, and then he's going to go slider and get the swinging strike. Both runners steal, but he's ahead 0-2. He's in control. You see Trevino telling him, let's go, come on. He misses with the fastball, overthrowing there. He comes back with another fastball, and Springer just fouls it off. And this is going to be a theme in this at-bat. Whatever Rodon threw, a slider right there, Springer is going to spoil it. Rodon comes back with one more fastball. Again, overthrows. It's high in the zone. This time he's going to go slider and misses. That's down. Good take by Springer. So it's a full count. And here's where Springer goes about winning the at-bat. Fouls off that fastball. You have to be frustrated as a pitcher. You're throwing 98. You want to put a guy away. He fouls off that fastball. So after 2 straight fastballs are fouled off, Rodon goes slider. The Yankees are hoping for a swing call. They don't get it. Springer gets the walk, climaxing that 10-pitch at-bat.
And on the pregame, you said, don't let Vladdy get traction and get going, and he did in this game and delivered.
He did, and that was the second pitch of the at-bat after Rodon started him off with a slider and got a swing and miss. He threw a pitch that I think he will admit probably got too much to the plate against a really good hitter, and that 2-run single boosted the Blue Jays ahead 3-1.
So you see that 10-pitch at-bat for Springer. There were 2 8-pitch at-bats by Jansen and Guerrero. But, Jack, then I go back to the start. That first inning in which they did not score, but Bichette works a 12-pitch at-bat against him. A 32-pitch first inning really set the tone for what kind of night it was going to be.
Yeah, it's a grind being a major league pitcher, and that grind becomes even more exacerbated when batters are doing to you what the Blue Jays did to Rodon tonight. In that first inning, Bichette fouled off 7 pitches in that at-bat. And if you're Rodon, you're trying to do your job and you're trying to get back into the dugout, get your team to the plate to try and score some runs against Kikuchi, but the Blue Jays made that very hard. Of the 101 pitches that Rodon threw, 27 were fouled off. And a lot of the times, pitches are fouled off because you're throwing fastballs up in the zone that rise a little bit, and a batter is trying to catch up with them and maybe doesn't square them up, so he fouls it off. Or misplaced cutters. They don't get to their location. Maybe they were supposed to be in on the hands, and a batter is just fighting those off as well. Rodon throws both of those pitches, and both of those pitches were fouled off a lot tonight.
One of the other themes going into this game was the pitcher on the other side. Yusei Kikuchi doesn't walk a lot of guys. Yanks like to walk and get traffic on the base paths. We take a look at Kikuchi. Highlights brought to you by your local Ford stores, and he beat the Yankees back in their home opener. He comes back into this one, just 2 earned runs allowed on the season, and he goes to work with the strikeouts.
Yeah, nasty slider to strike out Volpe. Next is going to be Soto. He challenged him, just threw a fastball right by him. And after that, Aaron Judge, the other slugger he had to face in the first inning, more heat right by him. That was 96, Bob. It's sneaky fast from Kikuchi. John Flaherty did a great description of how well Kikuchi not only hides the ball, but then throws his pitches to various parts of the strike zone. And you could see by the Yankees' swings at some of these offerings that they were not picking up the pitch. They were being fooled by Kikuchi. There's Volpe striking out again in the 5th. Go to the 6th. Giancarlo did not go deep tonight, and he stares at a strike 3 right there. Next batter is Rizzo, Bob, and he thinks he's got a base hit right here. But how about Davis Schneider laying out to make that catch and preserve the 3-1 lead?
So the Yankees do get a chance to try to get something going. They score 2 in the 7th inning. And then as we go to the top half of the 9th inning, a chance for them to get something going against Jordan Romano, fresh off the injured list, Jack. And Anthony Rizzo thinks he's got a base hit here.
Yeah, he hits another bullet to left field, and this time it's a different left fielder. Varsho had moved over to left field, and he robs Rizzo. So Rizzo gets robbed by the left fielder on back-to-back plays. 2 different left fielders, 2 different guys to be ticked off at.
So Romano still trying to kick off the rust of being on the IL. Hits Gleyber Torres, the very next batter, and the Yankees, they got 1 on, they have 1 out, and that brings up Alex Verdugo, and they think maybe we can get something going here.
This is the best part of the Yankees lineup all night, and Verdugo takes that slider, drives it down the right field line, and falls a few feet short of a game-tying home run, Bob. It ends up being a double. That was his second hit of the night. Trevino was the number 8 batter in the lineup. They didn't go to the lefty Wells. They stuck with Trevino. This little grounder is going to result in a 5-3 with a nice play right there at third by Clement, but a run scores to make it 5-4.
So 5-4, Oswaldo Cabrera, great numbers with runners in scoring position, but he could not get the runner home. Grounds out 4-3, and that would do it. In a little under 3 hours, the Yankees rallying but falling short. And, Jack, let's just go back to the top of that lineup. You mentioned that. Just 2 hits for the top 6 hitters, 1 from Soto, 1 from Stanton, and that was it.
Yeah, it's a nice thing when your number 8 batter in Trevino knocks in 3 runs and your number 9 batter in Cabrera knocks in the other run. But you got to rely on your big guys to do some damage. And the Yankees didn't get anything from their big guys in the lineup. 3rd straight loss for them. And you mentioned it earlier, Bob, and it's worth noting. Blue Jays haven't walked many Yankees. They walked 2 last night. They walked 2 tonight. A big part of fueling the Yankees offense this season has been their ability to work pitchers and get on base and create a ton of traffic. The only traffic they've been getting mostly in these last 2 games is when they've managed to get some hits. And last night it was 1 run. Tonight it was 4 runs, with those coming late mostly.
And by the way, the reason it was so hard to do, you saw the way Kikuchi in that highlight rip pitches. He pitches with an aggressiveness and a confidence in what he's doing. He almost struts a little after those strikeouts.
He's got 4 pitches that he has confidence in throwing at any time. I mentioned earlier that he hides the baseball very well. He has confidence in that fastball, but he'll also go curve, slider, changeup. The curve has been his best pitch this season, and he loves pitching against the Yankees. In his last 7 starts against the Yankees, the Blue Jays have won 6 of them. So he has figured out a recipe to slow down this offense. The Yankees will try and punch back in the series finale tomorrow.
All right.
Aaron, a couple of defensive miscues tonight. Just overall, what do you think has led to some of the maybe not crisp defense here to start the season?
A couple. I had the one.
You had Gleyber deciding to go to third, didn't wind up getting never at third, and then there was the error.
Yeah, it was a great play by Gleyber. Didn't complete the tag. You know, blocking the bag rule, just to, you know, got around it. But that was a hell of a play by Gleyber, and then he just didn't secure the ball on the stolen base. That's the one that, you know, hurt. Obviously, you know, they're not in a double steal situation. I think we get the out there. But the first one, I mean, that's a heads up play by Gleyber, and you know, I have no issue with that. They executed, and you know, we didn't get to play.
On the tag at second, is he just trying to do too much there before he actually has control of the ball?
I think he's just trying to tag him out. I mean, and the ball came out, so you got to secure it in that situation, obviously, and weren't able to.
What made Kikuchi so tough on you guys? Obviously, you saw him at your home opener too.
Yeah, man, he looks good right now. I mean, the stuff is really good. He's getting it to areas he wants to. You know, you got to respect the fastball, but the secondary stuff's really playing as well, and he's throwing the ball really well against us. And, you know, that got the better of us tonight.
With Rodon, they made him throw a lot of pitches and work overall. What was your interpretation of him tonight?
Yeah, that stuff-wise really good. You know, a couple walks there late that, you know, as a result of kind of death by the foul ball tonight. You know, they just kept spoiling pitches. He was in the strike zone. The stuff was really good, but they outlasted him, and then a couple of walks that end up coming around and scoring kind of kind of did him in, but I thought he threw the ball well.
What does he need to do to put hitters away more than he did tonight?
I mean, sometimes the other team's really good. They just kept spoiling, I thought, what was a lot of really good pitches tonight. Again, I think as it got long, then the walks hurt him a little bit late and did him in there. So, I thought in the end we got outplayed tonight. They played a heck of a game in a lot of ways. Made a couple of huge, big plays defensively in the outfield. Kikuchi was really good, and they had those kind of tough at bats that weren't always ending in walks, but made us work really hard and kind of outlasted us there.
You mentioned some of the good plays in the outfield, too, in left field in particular, on balls that it seemed like Anthony Rizzo had squared up.
Yeah, I mean, that's an area they're really good in, especially when they shoot Kiermaier there late. It's a really good outfield defense they run out there. So, Schneider made a great play on the ball down the line. That who knows where that squirts, and then Varsho, making that play on Anthony there, as we're putting a rally together behind it. So they made more plays than we did tonight. Simple as that.
What are you seeing in Judge's at bats right now?
Just not dominating, probably the heater like he normally does. Again, like he's going to get it and buckle up. So, I feel like he's been in and out of getting real close at times. But, just got to work to get that feeling, and he will.
One of the keys to this game was Boone talking about the defense there. There were a couple plays that he can look at that he'd hoped would be different for his team. But then certainly Anthony Rizzo by himself probably had a couple hits or extra base hits taken away.
Yeah, how often does a major league manager say that team outplayed us or that team made more plays than we did? A lot of times you're trying to figure out how your team could have won, but that's exactly what Aaron Boone is saying there, because it's true. We just showed toward the tail end of his press conference the two plays that the Blue Jays made late in this game. We talked about the play at second base where Gleyber Torres lost control of the baseball. And then there were just other things about this game, whether it was running the bases, Bob, or some crisper at-bats, as you talked about. They couldn't get anything going against Kikuchi. That is going to happen at times, but as much as Rodon struggled, the Yankees really could have used to gotten something on the board against Kikuchi, and they ended up with that one run.
Carlos, it seemed like they really made you work tonight, fouling off a ton of pitches. Just how frustrating a night is it like tonight when you have good stuff but can't put some hitters away?
Yeah, I gotta give them props because they had some really good at-bats. I mean, Bichette in the first, 12-pitch at-bat. I mean, a handful of bats I remember that were 10-pitch at-bats that drew some walks and, hit the ball. They hit the ball up the middle. They made me work, and yeah, it was tough. I wish I was better tonight. I had good stuff. Had stuff to, get guys out, but they had a good approach today.
What was it about their approach that was challenging?
Yeah, I mean, I had some pitches that I wish I had back. Obviously, a couple pitches in that fourth that one to Vladdy I left over the middle, and made some good pitches. They fouled them off. It was good to see our boys come back late in the game and scrap some runs together, and still gave us a chance to have a chance to tie there. So that was impressive from our offense as well.
Look at that fourth inning. Some bad luck there as well. The ball goes off the bag there, second batter of the inning to let Clement on. You look back at that inning as a whole and just kind of scratch your head a little bit.
The biggest thing for me was that walk to Varsho, the lefty. I mean, that bat before he barreled the ball, but that's a guy I got to get out, and that walk kind of sticks out to me. And once again, they strung some good at bats together there in the fourth as well. I think Springer had I'm not sure how many, a 10-pitch at bat as well, and in that inning that was pretty key. And he drew a walk, and just wish I need to be a little better with putting guys away. That's for sure.
For example, in the Bichette at bat, how frustrating is that? Do you try and outthink him? Do you try and say, what can I do to fool him?
At that point when we're 9 pitches in, I'm trying to just have him make contact and hit it at somebody. But he fouled off some tough pitches I made, and you know, it just is what it is. He drew a good walk, and you know, like I said, I wish, you know, I needed to be a little more effective with the cutter. Cutter was up in the zone. I think, you know, if that cutter's in the zone, I think it kind of changes their approach, so they have to worry about 3 pitches there. And it kind of would open up that slider hole as well. But, you know, all in all, you know, I wish I was better tonight for sure.
How would you evaluate your start to the season overall so far?
It's been all right. You know, I've had one real good game thus far, and just the other ones have been kind of battles where, you know, either been kind of inconsistent with some command with the fastball against Houston, and you know, the off speed wasn't there. Arizona, another good team, but once again, you know, seems like I just need to be more effective with the secondaries and get in the zone so I can pitch deeper in the game.
Well, Jack, he referenced the 10-pitch Springer at bat, the 12-pitch Bichette at bat. We showed them both, and what's interesting about those at bats as you were going through them, he was up 0-2, 1-2. He was ahead. He was in the pitcher's prime spot. But again, it just shows he didn't have that put-away pitch tonight.
Right, and he used the word, I wish I was better. I wish my pitches were better. And you give him credit for being accountable in those situations, because both of those at-bats could have been a lot shorter, but Bichette and Springer made him work and ended up with walks. And I also appreciate what Rodon said about that 4th-inning walk to Varsho. Nothing else happens in that inning if he can get the number 9 guy out in that spot. And Carlos Rodon, left on left, has to believe that he can get Varsho out, even though Varsho had gotten a hit in the previous at-bat. Once that gets away from him, Springer has the 10-pitch walk. Vladdy Guerrero has the 2-run single. And with everything that had been swirling around in those first few innings, he gets Varsho out. He goes back to the dugout, 1-1, heading to the 5th inning.
There is a speed bump on the front.